Hey everybody, welcome back to the next episode of Heliotrope. I am your resident Twitch streamer, resident? Resident, Ratscat. We are on, gosh, I don't know, episode, last one was session 3, so this is session 4, where we have found ourselves in the grave. Hope to do something about it, so thanks for tuning in. Anyway, let's get to quick intros and recap. And check out the overlay on the left-hand side of your screen. We now have a floating text box that updates with all the information about our aspects. So I will let Dan talk about that for a couple seconds too during the recap, okay? So guys, we're going to get into the introductions and stuff. So Dan, take it away, our GM. Oh, yeah, sure. I had a gentleman by the name of Salandrius, a friend of Bill and a real-life friend of mine and Bill's, Dave. So a friend of Dave's, excuse me, helped us out with some very cheeky Python coding. So we're using a Google Sheet to keep track of all of these aspects and different things for our characters. And as we're using this fate system, and so we wanted to represent that really in a cool way and dynamic way on the screen, and now we have this floating text box that's pretty handy, and will help you guys follow along with different things that we're capable of doing in the game.
It's really cool.
Hey Dan, I'm an idiot. Do me a favor. Let's do that one more time.
Wow, was I muted?
Yeah, I need to unmute you to the stream.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, so I was just saying I was pointing out the cool new UI we have. I'm letting you guys know we're going to keep working on it. You can see on the right hand side that's going to be number of free invokes in an aspect. You also see your truth and your spent. One quick update to that. I know there was some confusion last session about when does a truth go into the spent column, when does it count towards your world aspect. We're just going to make it really clean. Anything other than anytime you spend truth, anytime that you subtract a number from your truth counter, it goes into spent, no matter what. So any circumstances, as long as you are spending it, whether it's to counter a compel or whatever, give it to somebody, it goes into the spent counter. So you're going to accrue those a little quicker, I think, which is good. Obviously,
except for my stunt.
Except your stunt specifically says no. It's in the language of the stunt. A free invokes, obviously, you're not spending truth anyway. You're just getting an effect of a truth. So those are never going to count. They're just there. Without further ado, welcome to Heliotrope Cathedral, a needle made of thread. I am Dan, I'm the GM. And Frats, what's your name? What's your high concept?
I play a character named Jonas, and I am becoming, well, I have an aspect of becoming a god is blasphemy till one succeeds.
Fantastic. Ted, what is your name and what is your high concept?
My name is Ted, and my character is Talab. My high concept is all in the pursuit of love.
Thanks, Ted. Bill, what is your character name and your character's high concept?
My character is Verk, and I am the dim-witted pugilist of Pit.
Kurt, what is your character name and character high concept?
My character's name is Davros, and my high concept is there are no men like me.
Fantastic. For Rats, I don't know if you see the header. Is that fucked up for anyone else besides me? It's like
Just a little.
it's like over top of the portraits now.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be a session without a new thing going wrong.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. I blame you guys for touching things on the OBS.
Sure. There you go. Weird though that like I feel like it got smaller.
Yeah.
I
Definitely
don't
did.
know.
It was super. But everybody tunes in for anyway. Live OBS training.
Yeah, this is the real attraction. Will Frats be able to manage OBS? Will our adventurers get their portraits clipped?
Tune in next
Tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Basically.
It's a little disappointing. None of you guys chose the Super Saiyan aspect as a high concept. It
Oh.
would have come in super handy. Could have just picked it, and then you could have invoked it all the time for anything. Although I feel like you have to it takes 3 or 4 sessions to invoke it. You invoke it at session 1, and then it kicks in session 4. All right, we good?
Go with that, I guess.
Sure. We'll talk with it later. A brief recap. These are getting harder, of course, as the campaign goes on to make brief, but I'll do my very best. So last session, our intrepid adventurers found themselves confronting this nefarious cult of the Leviathan, led by a man named Brother Brecken. These cultists are possessing some strange and alien technology, including, but not limited to, a spaceship that they are assert, and you guys are pretty confident they're telling the truth about, can travel to the grave and fly between worlds. They also have a Brother Brecken has a strange crown embedded into his skull that can amplify his world-right powers. They have a number of strange technology involving ritual sacrifices and caging, holding materials, as well as firearms and potentially other weapons that can form out of the folds of their robes of some kind of nanotech type technology, much like Iron Man in say, Infinity War. These items are not are pretty intuitive. They're at least somewhat magical, so that when you grab them or try to mess with them, they seem to follow your general will. Anyway, so as we come to as the conflict between our adventurers and the cultists comes to a head, who starts? Verk comes charging into the fight, and due to a timely compel on his aspect, what's the exact phrasing of it? Intimidating by default. Verk intimidates these guys into starting a fight. He is shot at, dodges all of these shots, which looked to be quite deadly, grabs one of the cultists to use as a human barrier, and the fight absolutely explodes. A storm comes overhead, as is pretty standard for the beleaguered forest, and the entire party jumps into action. Talab securing one of the little slime creatures that he believes is key to the antidote to this greater threat of this poisonous, strange black oozes. Jonas preparing to counter whatever strange world magic Brecken begins to cast. Verk laying the hurt down on all the brethren around him, and then Davros leaping in off the back of a stampeding deer, also released by our friend Talab, to stab Brightholm's sword right through the skull of Brother Brecken, the crown of which has been now partially torn off by a well-timed shot from Captain Rilo. And the last thing Brother Brecken does before he dies is to unleash the world magic, which is to scatter everyone there to the four corners of the grave, or of the worlds in general. A spell which is stopped just in time by Jonas, who had prepared for this, and he and Davros, with their combined world right skill, are able to keep the party together, along with the soon-to-be corpse of Brother Brecken, Captain Rilo, and their newfound companion, her surviving first mate, nameless crewman. The party finds them, they roll the d10, they find themselves in the grave, and the party selects 4 aspects, which are going to build out this section of the grave for us, which is something I really want to keep doing. As we port to worlds, I'm obviously going to have a narrative, more or less what I want to happen there, but I want to have the party set the aspects, 1 each for every world we go to, because they're always going to be a little bit different. Even if you go back to the same world you've already been to, because of the ever-changing nature of the grave, there's always going to be new aspects. So I think that's a cool way to do it. Anyway, so the aspects we have here are, beg my pardon, walking on warped world light. So the floor, the ground that they walk upon is a twisted reflection of all the different stars and worlds in the sky of the grave, potentially causing some unknown effects as the world energy is refracted in a twisted way. Second aspect is everywhere a ringed city. All around them there was a colossal metropolis, which has been turned into a giant ring. The reason for that ring is aspect number 3, impact of the Leviathan. A shrine to this Leviathan god, creature, entity crashed down, and rather than causing a meteor strike that blew up the city physically, it warped the world around it and shot out this city to form a massive ring around this shrine. And to further complicate things, there are more ships of these cultists. In fact, they have an armada, and this armada always wanders the stars. So around this ringed city and this Leviathan shrine, perhaps we will encounter some of these ships of the armada as they wander throughout the stars. And then at the end of the session, a couple of things happen very quickly. Jonas finishes off Brother Brecken before he can help them, hurt them, do anything to aid and abet them in their cause. Davros and Verk go to investigate this shrine of the Leviathan, finding that it is absolutely colossal. It is some hundreds of feet tall and maybe 100 or so feet wide, composed entirely of black marble with gold and silver striations. I'll describe it in more detail once we get into the session. And Talab tries in vain to save the life of Brother Brecken, to try to get information or assistance to leave this twisted place, but Jonas, of course, cuts that short. Further driving wedge between him and Captain Rilo and Talab. I wanted to ask you guys a question. So Fate is very narrative driven. A lot of the rules and a lot of the effects are whatever the narrative desires, and we kind of roll with it as you've seen. As we make up an aspect, the aspect kind of self-describes what new twist has been added to the narrative, and thus what twist has been added to the mechanics. However, given the fact that these worlds are almost narrative tools made into mechanics, by going to a world, the tone of the campaign must change, right? So when you travel to World of Ruin, there must be a tragic tone to the events there, because that is the rules of that world. I'm thinking that I should make a set of static aspects one for every world. That when you're in that world, there is a set effect. I know in D&D we did this more cleanly. I was like, you guys go to World of Ruin, all damage is doubled, whatever. It's easy to do with D&D. With Fate, I'm thinking of maybe collaboratively. We can do this on the spreadsheet in between sessions. Think of some effects, something as simple as every other truth effect is doubled. There's +2 to all notice rolls in this world, stuff like that. A set effect, it happens every single time. There's always going to be new aspects we're putting into play, but they're all resting on a bed of like, this world is fundamentally different mechanically. I can tell you exactly how it's this massive change to the game. So what do we think about that? About having static aspects, at least one always in play on a world, in addition to the ones that we throw on top. I see Kurt vigorously nodding his head. What else? What do you guys think?
I think this
Sounds good to
pizza is
me.
delicious.
Yeah, it looks great. I have a bowl of fruit that I'm also going to be tucking into shortly.
I just
This
finished
episode
my watermelon.
brought to you by Fruit.
Dole.
It's Dole, yes,
The fruit.
the fruit company.
Oh, it is Pride Month, Dan. So
It is Dole. Wow, that's
I just like how it took Dan a second there.
we're all allies here. We're not. Oh goddamn! None of us voted for. Okay, no, hold on. Sorry, let's restart the stream. All right.
we're gonna do a hard reboot. Dan's starting
Yeah,
a
we're gonna
Twitch
hard-
channel. Frats is no longer
hard-
invited.
Yeah, starting a brand new campaign. I'm gonna hire budget frats. All right, so to start, stat specs, fantastic. So to start, let's you guys all ended up walking towards the shrine, right? At the end, you all joined together in that endeavor.
Yes.
I believe so, yeah.
Let me describe the outside of the shrine for you one more time before you venture inside and all certainly lose your lives. So this temple, this shrine, this spire, is some hundreds of feet tall. You can't quite get an exact number because it almost vanishes into the sky of the grave. Everything around here is kind of fucky anyway. Nameless. There's that. By the way, if you're watching, that's how you spell Nameless Crewman. Our first mate, Mr. Nameless Crewman. They're on the screen. The grave messes with your sense of perception. And so it's unclear exactly how tall this spire is, but it is colossal. The outside, as I mentioned, black marble strided with gold and silver. You can step on it, knock on it. It's a real material. As best you can tell, this was crafted by hand. This is not some magical construct. You can see small chisel marks and places where the touch of a craftsman is evident, not simply the manifestation of someone with some great power over the grave. Adorning it are gargoyles, rising all the way up as high as you can see. Each gargoyle different, telling some kind of story, showing some expression to the one next to it, and wrapped around it are carvings of vines and wind, a tower of sorts, but with no egress in, save for a massive set of double doors looking like they're made of wrought iron and brass. Iron, long rusted, by the way, and brass bands around it. Just very, very lightly opened up towards you. Enough so that one or two people could enter in simultaneously. Oh, and then flanking the entrance to this door are the statues of two massive hounds, one of which is headless. The head has been torn off or ripped in some way. The other one, which is howling. These hounds are 35, 40 feet tall, with tails as long as their bodies. So the tails are kind of almost wrapped around their feet. And you can't tell much else because it's all carved out of the same black marble. What color they were, perhaps, but they are not mirror images. They are carved different. It is clear these are two different hounds that the craftsman had made. And from within this temple, you hear absolutely nothing. Not the wind, no sound of rattling, no indication that anything is or ever was inside. What do you do?
letting anyone but me go first.
All right. Who goes first?
Jonas.
All right. I did not expect that answer. Jonas, you just stroll right in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
With a almost strut of grave wise, I don't know, knowledge, or like, like there's a divine feeling here, and it feels like I have peeled back another layer of
Mm-hmm.
chasing divine power. So I'm almost
That's
like,
fair.
yeah, I wanna know, but like I'm almost scholarly about it. Like it's academic to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So you stroll right in, not checking for traps or anything.
Of
And
course.
right, you walk in, and the first thing that happens when you walk in, you just see absolute pitch blackness, total darkness, nothing coming from the outside. And just when you're about to stagger back or light a torch or worry what's going on here, slowly your eyes begin to adjust. The inside of this is ringed with concentric levels to the tower. So as you look up, you see almost like if you're standing in the bottom of a massive library, like you'll see with all of the banisters and the shelves and the books. But if you're sitting in the center of it, you can see all the way to the top. But around it, the different levels of the library rise up. It's much like that. There is a circular staircase navigating the interior of this spire, and it rises all the way up to certain landings where there are clear, distinct levels. You can't see what's on them, what their significance is, but you do see that they're there. On the bottom floor, there is a wreckage of what looks to be a service of some kind. There are wooden tables and chairs, candelabras, bits of paper and leather of tomes. There was clearly this was a church of some kind, long ruined, destroyed by something. Your
I did that on
poker
purpose.
chips are
Yep.
okay. At the very terminus of this, straight ahead of you, there is a stone altar, which is, by the way, all of the materials for this are for creatures 10, 20 feet high. So they do not fit you at all. Even broken, these things are massive. So just giant piles of lumber and stone and metal. In the center of this, or rather at the terminus of this, at the end of it, is a stone altar above a set of 3 or 4 large stairs. Again, you'd have to almost like clamber over them rather than actually walk up them. And you can't see much farther than that. You have very limited vision here. So you can't see what's above you, and you can't quite see what's at the end of this area. But you can see the wreckage all around you. As the rest of you enter, it's the same thing. It's absolute pitch blackness, and then after a few moments, your eyes begin to adjust, and you begin to take in the scene.
Is there a specific number of tiered levels?
You can maybe only see the first couple. It's incredibly dark and incredibly tall, so perhaps, but
Are there?
It could be an illusion, and since this is the grave, it, for all you know, could be real. It seems to go on forever. It seems to disappear into the darkness. It's equally possible that it does, or that it has a definite terminus.
And the wreckage of the prior service that you described. Is there any remains or
Of bodies?
yeah.
No.
So it just looks like a service that wasn't cleaned up after.
Well, I mean, it was clearly wrecked. Like, these things are shattered. It's not
okay.
just like, something destroyed everything here. Why don't you roll me notice?
Or okay.
So it's a ruined service.
uh I ooh, I start pretty low, but I begin to hum the song of the tomb, which I recall
Great.
from the from the. I don't do that. What I do
From having the aspect always the song of the tomb.
correct.
Yeah.
So I have the aspect, obviously from a few sessions ago.
Hmm.
I knew the song and sung it to the cultists.
Uh-huh.
And so I start humming it, and I begin to get louder and louder, and I try to, as I'm singing it, I'm offering a little bit of reverence with it, but I'm also trying to see how far maybe the sound carries, or if there's an echo, or if there's anything involving sound that I can, potentially understand more about the space we're in.
Sure. What do the rest of you do while he's doing this?
I'm gonna examine. Do the dogs do anything when we go? Well, does the one dog do anything when we walk?
Well, they're made of stone, so no.
Yeah, they just look to be on alert. That's all.
Yeah, sure. Nothing about this place is magical. They're just normal carved stone dogs.
In that case, I will follow in, and I'm gonna keep an eye on Rilo and
Okay.
see what she does,
Sure.
because as I recall, we're going in here to look for valuable.
Well, there's certainly treasure here, but also perhaps a clue on how you might escape, or how to get out of here. She is cautiously looking around, gun drawn. Same with first mate crewman. She picks over some of the wreckage and cautiously begins to ascend the staircase. Talab Burke.
Question.
I'll follow up the staircase.
Sure. Talab.
Real quick question. Did I not have an aspect from last session? It's empty now, but I thought I did.
I cleared all the aspects out that wouldn't carry over.
Oh, okay. It didn't carry over.
I don't remember what it was, but I don't remember anything being.
It had something to do with the song, also.
It was that, like, the aspect was specifically that the cultists definitely believe and will not question you further that you are an adherent to the law.
Okay.
That's all it was.
Those cultists.
It was I think it was that you can mimic the song, but that just means, like, you rolled really, like, you did a very good job mimicking. You still don't have any, like, real knowledge of this thing.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I'll follow.
Okay, you follow Rilo up the stairs.
Yeah.
Davros.
I'm gonna hang with Jonas this time.
Okay, Jonas, are you standing still while you do this?
No, I'll move up the aisle towards the altar.
The altar you can't quite make out. Okay, to get a closer look.
Yeah.
So as you begin to sing, you begin to hear a resonance come from it. Actually, at first it's just echoing. And then very slowly, almost imperceptibly, you begin to hear a resonance, as if the walls of the very material that the spire is made out of rings in harmony with this note. It is some resonant frequency of this structure. It is beautiful. It's a rich, deep, soothing sound. And behind it, there is a strange hunger. There is something about this song that is seeking, devouring. It's calming, but it also fills you with some urge that you can't quite put your finger on. You need to consume something. You need to have more than you have right now. Davros, you don't detect this, of course. This song to you simply echoes loudly and beautifully, like the video of those guys a cappella singing the Halo theme at the bottom of, like, a reservoir or something that went viral a few years ago.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the bathroom of the dorm room.
Oh, it might have been that, but I remember seeing them at the bottom of, like, a massive water reservoir. As you approach Jonas, you see at the altar that there is a body lying upon it, maybe 20 feet tall. It is completely intact. You don't see any signs of decay. There's no smell. As you look, you see a pale gray flesh. And we'll get to that in a second. Talab, Verk, as you ascend the stairs to the first level, you look down, and from here you can clearly see that altar with that body upon it. On this first level, there are massive shelves carved into the wall, and many of them are empty. In fact, almost all of them are, until you go a little further and you see that one or two have shrouded forms in it, almost certainly bodies, as if this is a temple and also a mausoleum. These shelves are not doored or obstructed in any way. The shrouds are there out in the open. And beneath every one of the shrouds that are still there, in gold writing, there is some text that you can't understand. This gold writing is not there underneath the shelves that do not have any bodies. And then if you were to walk all the way around, there is more stairs going up to the second level. Talab, Verk, what do you do?
And these are like the 20-foot bodies that are over there,
Uh-huh.
wrapped in the shrouds.
You are assuming they're bodies. It's a safe bet. They look
Yeah.
more or less like bodies, but they are wrapped in many, many layers.
And how many are there?
On this level, let's say 3.
Okay.
There's many, many shelves, dozens and dozens of shelves, but most of them are empty.
I'm not sure.
No?
I can see like Ted wants to do something, but he doesn't want to at the same time.
I don't know what. I think I am, and he is kind of lost right now in here. Like, yeah, out of his element.
Okay.
Verk's a bit on the superstitious side, so
Uh-huh.
dead bodies that are laid to rest, they're there. He doesn't want to mess with them.
Okay.
Mm.
He's not deterred by dead bodies by any means. Like,
Sure.
it's just the stigma of it.
Yeah. They're not dead bodies. They're dead bodies that have been laid to rest. That's a very different thing than a corpse on a battlefield.
Correct.
Rilo quickly ascertains that there's no treasure to be found here and begins to ascend up the other level. Do both of you go with her? Talab, do you do anything with the corpse on the altar that is exposed?
I do want to get a closer look at it.
Okay. Do you go back to the first level?
Yeah.
Okay. Jonas and Davros, what do you guys do as you approach?
I'm going to I'm going to let Jonas decide which direction he's going first before I...
You mean which direction?
Are you walking straight up to the altar, or are you walking around it? What are you...
Yeah, no, I'm walking straight up to the altar.
Okay, I will circle around to the other side of the altar then, to kind of flank the corpse that's...
Okay.
And examine it
Okay.
closely.
How
Davros.
high is it from like where we're at to like? Can we see where Fratson?
Yeah. Mhm.
Is it
It's,
like a balcony that goes around the top of?
Yeah, 60, 70 feet high.
Okay.
It's high. A jump would hurt.
Yeah.
But you can see them. Yeah, it goes all the way around. By the way, as you go up to this first level, it continues to look as if this thing goes on for Jonas and Davros, and now Talab as you walk up to this altar. This body has one arm laying off the altar, just limp, and the other arm is raised up towards the top of the spire. It is held there as if in rigor mortis, every finger as if reaching out to clutch something. It is absolutely dead. It is cold to the touch if you touch it, but its arm is held there as if by some force. You've seen rigor mortis before. I'm sure eventually this would fall, if not by the sheer decay of the body. But like I said, it's otherwise perfectly preserved. In fact, the eyes are open and they are glassy. Like there is a sheen to them. They are not dull. Its mouth is open. It is a handsome creature. It looks like a sculpture. If it wasn't clearly made of flesh and clothed, you'd think it was carved out of marble as well. You can't make out the gender, if this thing even has one. It's from a race of things that are not dissimilar to yours, but this is something older and stranger. Its clothes are many layers of different colored cloth. Reds and blues, golds, oranges, purples. It bears a talisman around its neck, folded into the cloak. It has symbols on it that you cannot decipher at all. You can't even there's no like pictograms, no clear image of it. It's just covered in odd symbols on both sides. And the creature does not seem to have any visible wounds on it, or you can't make out a clear manner of death just by looking at it. Do you guys investigate further, like actually picking this thing apart, pulling the clothes off, or do you let it sit?
I'm gonna look to our resident medical expert as he approaches
Sure.
and see if he gives us a diagnosis.
Doctor?
I mean, can I?
Can you what?
Can I guess do a notice on the body to even see if it's moving at all, or
It's 100%. I'm not going to make you roll for it. It's not moving.
I mean, I have no idea. I would say as much.
Right. Do you investigate it? Do you like?
Yes.
Okay. Like put your hands on it. Are you guys going to violate
Sure.
this in any way? Are you guys going to actually like get a knife and cut it open, pull it out, or are you guys going to? Because this is all you get from a surface level examination.
I'm not going to.
You don't have to get further into this. I'm just saying if you want more data, that's what you will have to do.
I mean, I'm not a surgeon, so it's not really.
Is there anything else around the altar area that looks interesting?
Just wreckage, bits of holy texts. I'll tell you right now, you look at them, you pick them up, there's absolutely nothing even close to what you can decode. You get a feeling if you look at them, Jonas, there is a sense of belonging here, but you're not well versed enough to be able to read their language. You simply get that similar tone. Are you still singing the song, by the way?
I think as I hit the altar and start to pay attention of the surface look of the body, it starts to fall away from me. Like I kind of
Yeah.
lose it.
Sure.
But does he look at all like? Does this resemble at all what was going on with Brecken, as Brecken was, calling forth the Leviathan or sending out that message?
There's an outstretched arm, but honestly, that's a tenuous thread. I mean, you can see that gesture anywhere. The robes are not dissimilar to Brecken's cultist robes. Those are all a rich purple, but the folds of them and the way that it hangs upon his body is very similar. Almost certainly Brecken performing some kind of mimicry.
Okay.
I do have one quick question more about like
Sure.
how things look around. Is it dusty at all, or is it just?
Nope. It is as if this happened yesterday.
Seeing that there's nothing else for me or my expertise in this area, I am going to head up after Rilo to the third floor.
That'd be
She's heading to the third now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll follow suit then if he.
Sure.
I was waiting to see if either direction.
So real quick, before Jonas does that, before Davros does that, Dan, you said there was a talisman.
Mm-hmm. I did.
I would like to
have it.
yes.
Well, possession is 9/10 of the law, and he doesn't seem as if he can press charges for theft. Do you just grab it off of him?
I'd like to think there's something, there's some like style way to do it, but no, yeah, I just, no, Jonas truly is showing reverence in this area. Actually, I'll tell you what. At the same time, he puts one hand on the chest, unless that somehow activates something. He puts one hand on the chest of this creature to lean over to grab this talisman, because you said it was a necklace, right?
Yep.
He grabs it with one hand, and with the other, he tries to reach up, and I'm not sure, maybe they're too large for this, but he would like to try to maybe close the eyes. The eyelids.
Okay. So, you grab the talisman, and nothing happens. When you reach your hand over, so now you are obstructing this thing's vision to close it, right? You hear you just have a sharp pain in your ears. Davros, you notice, and Talab, that his ears start to bleed, and you pause just from the sheer pain of this, and only after a couple seconds do you realize that you are hearing a scream. All of you hear this. This is not some Song of the Tomb magic. Davros and Talab, both of you roll me. Actually, everyone but Verk roll me physique.
Davros, go first.
Stayed on the second floor, yes.
Also, the guy who could most likely pass the physique roll is out of frame.
Yeah.
Okay.
-1.
-1 total.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just neutral.
0. Okay.
+1.
Okay. Great. All of you fail. You had a -1, Davros?
Yes, I did.
You fail catastrophically. So this, all of you take. No, you fail by the exact amount. So, Jonas, you take 1 point of damage. Talab 2. Davros 3. Allocate that to your stress or consequences accordingly. If you guys cannot fill up all your stresses, let me know and I will.
Is this this is
deal
mental
lots of
stress,
consequences. Right? Yes, this is sorry. This is no. This can go to physical or mental. However you want to play it.
Okay.
I'll leave that to your whichever ones you want to fill. Okay, split. Oh, you're out of physical stress, Davros. That's terrible. You take any more physical hits, it's going to go right to consequences.
I'm out of one or the other. So.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, you only have. Yeah, that's right. Oh, ouch. Yeah, you're the squishy.
Yeah.
So this thing absolutely kills you over. You, Jonas, I'm gonna say that you don't fall on this guy. You don't like collapse. You barely hang on. I imagine you don't want to collapse onto this guy.
No.
Okay, so you're able to keep yourself up. You still are gripping. Now you almost like your hand is like locked on the talisman. Like it's just your body is seizing.
It's helping me. It's probably helping me not fall on the body.
Sure. What do any of you do? Oh, Rhino just like wheels around and just points the gun down at the body,
At
and she shouts, "What's happening?"
Is he touching the eyes or just his hands?
Nope, he has simply obscured that eye's line of sight to whatever it was looking
at. Is it safe to say that we noticed that that's what caused this?
Sure. I in general, I know that I've been bad at this in the past. I want to get away from my my predilection to have you guys constantly roll perception or notice. If it's like, unless it requires really keen investigation, let's ride and say like you totally see what's happening. As soon as the eyes crossed that barrier, as soon as the hands crossed that barrier,
scream happened.
Yes, it's also, if I wasn't clear, coming from the body. The body is still not moving. I'm sorry, Ted. Body is still not moving.
Yeah, but I smack his hands away.
No, I'm just I just want to clarify.
Oh,
So, all right. So your hand is smacked away. Do you resist? You want to roll off for this, Frats?
I don't want to roll. I obviously understand what's happening here.
Yeah.
As I get close to the eyes. So no, if I'm like stuck, or frozen because of the.
Yeah. Just for a second, from the shock of it,
So
Talab just leaps forward, grabs the hand off,
Yeah, that's fine.
or smacks it away. The scream immediately stops, though it's still ringing in your ears and incredibly painful.
Hey guys, what was that? It's kind of loud.
Who do you think that was?
Brianna?
Can I just touch one of its eyes?
What the?
I'm
I'm over
the.
I'm not putting my hand over it. I just want to like touch.
So
Touch
you're
the
gonna
white.
touch the white of it. We'll say. I mean, they're huge. They're like, I don't know how big an eyeball would be for a 20-foot man, but certainly So yeah, you touch it. It feels like glass. It is not sticky or squishy.
Still no movement.
Still no movement from the body.
It feels like glass. Is it hard? I want to try to poke it. Poke the eye.
With what?
With a knife.
A knife. This is great. So
Can I get up the stairs before he does this?
3 minutes ago, he says, "I'm not a surgeon."
no, this is good. This is good. We are. Listen, either you guys fuck with this. Either you guys fuck with this holy place, or you guys, basically act like cowards and calmly investigate and then leave. So you have a. I'm assuming you have some kind of a small knife on you, and you just kind of you try. So you are trying to crack it if it can be cracked.
I'm not like jamming the knife into it. I'm just kind of like
right. Okay.
feeling it out.
Let's have you roll me.
Before you say anything, I'm going to be calling on don't overthink. Whatever the thing is.
If you need it. Let me think. Not fight. Yeah. But I want you to be able to do this. What would you roll if you had to form? I would say crafts.
Athletics?
No, I think crafts is your like. If you were to do surgery, I'd probably have you roll crafts. I'd imagine. That's what makes the most sense to me.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll me crafts.
Sure. Can I? Oh, yeah. You know what? I am overthinking it. I am not overthinking.
Okay.
I'm going to not overthink it.
Okay.
So I'm going to invoke that for an extra.
Sure.
Whatever. 2, I think.
Sure. That's an extra 2. Or a reroll, but that's a great roll. So
yeah. So that's 1 fate, correct?
1 truth. Yeah.
1 truth. My bad.
Yeah. Into your spent. Out of your truth into your spent. Does it update in real time? Let's look at the stream. It does. That's awesome.
Yep.
Or close to real time.
6, I think.
6. Yeah.
Right?
6.
Updated.
You're over halfway there. So you.
I mean, also 6 for the roll. But yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So you succeed with style. So you take the knife, and your goal is to just see if it cracks, but not like otherwise cut this guy up or ruin it or
right,
damage this. So you just kind of like almost like using the palm of your hand like a hammer, just kind of like tap the back of the dagger, right so that the point just penetrates the iris. There is a crack. And
good.
You see a fracture just split along the eyeball.
Good.
There's a creaking sound like an old door being opened after a dozen years. And the eyeball just shatters. The pieces of glass fly up as if the entire cone in front of the eye is a suspended field of null gravity. And the pieces are just hovering above it at different layers, glimmering in a light you can't see the origin of. Otherwise, perfect, the body is completely untouched. With your success with style, let's have you throw a boost into here. This boost is, let's say, just the right amount of... Oops, I'm not doing this in the right field. It's got to be in aspects in play. Talab. Just the right amount of pressure. Okay. So, you have a sense innately, immediately. This is kind of your thing. You don't overthink. You just have an intuition. You know exactly how much pressure to apply on this thing to break it. If this comes in handy later, we'll see. But you know exactly how hard to press to do or not do whatever you want to do. There is no scream. Do you look inside? There is now a completely open cavity where the eyeball was. All the pieces of it are now currently floating above it.
Yes.
Okay. You look inside, and again, at first, there's just like darkness. Your eyes slowly adjust, and you see a small flicker. And you see something quickly move within this body. Like a slither. Something just slides just out of view.
I was just going to say the hamster ran off its wheel.
Yeah. And you hear, after just a couple seconds, hello?
Who hears this?
Yeah. look around.
Anyone in range. This is not a psychic. So not Verk, I'm going to say, but whoever's close enough.
Hello? Answer it.
Who's... And then it pauses as if thinking of the next word. There.
There is
Ooh.
such a subjective, state of being. I mean, is here there, or could there be where you are? We wouldn't know.
It seems to ponder this seriously. It does it if... Is Jonas smiling? He's doing his bit?
No.
No? Okay.
No, it's not. It's not biddish, but it's like it's taking the moment to pause Talab from just giving a direct response. It's trying to buy time.
You're stalling.
And
okay.
and I'm putting my hand on his shoulder as I'm like climbing up, like because I had almost fallen. Like now, now I'm like supporting him by.
Are you still holding the talisman, by the way?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and you're giving Talab the look of like, I'm buying you time with this.
Yeah.
Talab, what do you say?
Yes. I am here. Talab. I am Talab. I'm kind
Talab.
of confused.
You are Talab.
Yes. Who are you?
I am hiding.
Is that your name?
You hear another slithery sound, and the voice comes from farther away. It is clearly moving throughout this body. And then it kind of coils itself up, and you can hear it like almost like a snake winding around itself. And then you see just the little pinpricks of two little eyes within the cavity of this.
Hmm.
And it's meeting your gaze. I used to have a name, but I don't remember it.
Would you like us to give you a name?
Yes. Yes, I'd like that.
You look... He looks kind of... snaky? Snake-like.
You hear snake-like sounds. You hear a slithery sound.
So, how about serpent?
Serpent.
That's a good name.
There is a connotation to serpent. Do you say serpent, comma, that's a good name?
Yeah.
There is a connotation to serpent that is not there with snake. You have chosen a word with dark insinuations, temptation, deception, old myths, old dragons.
If you could see what I'm seeing right now, you would think, yes, serpent.
Also has a connotation of medicine.
Of what? Medicine?
Medicine.
That's true.
Caduceus.
That's true. Well, right. Caduceus is the serpent in the Caduceus tale is has a negative connotation. So,
But it's there though.
right.
Trying to help you out there, Ted.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
you
like
tried.
it.
It's fine. Would you, if it's not too much trouble, help me up?
I'm gonna go ahead and disengage for a second
Uh-huh.
and look at Jonas.
As you turn to look as you break eye contact, you hear a low
You cut off
You
from
cut
me.
out.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I guess my voice was too low for the mic to pick up. You hear a low
I'm assuming he's saying no.
Okay.
No.
Oh.
The serpent is not
just a hum sound.
It is very clearly the word no spoken
Oh.
slowly.
Okay.
You can't tell where it's coming from. If actually, I'll give it to you. It's coming from the base, from the chest of this dead or frozen creature, as if it is trying to sputter out this one word through its paralysis.
So why wouldn't this is game talk? Why wouldn't this corpse want the snake out of its chest or brain or whatever body?
I want to
If
know what the
you've
hell it
been
was hiding
face
from.
hugged in the alien universe and you were conscious for a split second and knew it was going.
Let me cut for a second. Verk up top. Rilo is watching this, completely locked on. She is absolutely ready to take the shot. I don't know if you guys on the bottom know this, but she has it lined up. Like, she is ready to fire on this thing. Nameless crewman is behind her, kind of pacing, and he kind of pokes. He looks back. No one's looking at him, and he kind of pokes and starts to peel away layers of one of the shrouded corpses. Verk, what are you doing?
Do I see him pulling the shrouds back?
Yes.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
He looks at
And
you.
just like being a sailor, you guys have your your superstitions, your beliefs of what not to do. That's something you ought not to do.
He looks at you and kind of narrows his eyes and takes a step back. But he has a bit of cloth that he's holding in his hand, and he's kind of peering over it. So smooth. Rubs it. Softer than silk. He hands it to you.
I'll lay it back over the corpse he poured it from.
Okay. You do. It is like supremely luxurious, as you.
Yeah.
I will be right back for. Give me 2 seconds.
So, Serpent said that it was hiding from
Yeah.
something. What the hell was it hiding from?
But yeah, it brings up a lot of questions.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of curious about.
Yeah, what is it hiding from? Is Serpent the bad thing here? Are the cultists, the 20-foot creatures, the bad things? Is the thing that the cultist is praying to the bad thing here? And is that what Serpent's maybe hiding from? I don't know.
No, but I kind of want
I think the
to
move,
let it go.
I think the move forward is to allow him to get out.
Yeah. See where
I
it
think the
goes.
move forward here is for us to get out.
Yeah.
Kurt doesn't want to get face hugged.
Well, considering I'm out of physical stress, and I have one more point of mental stress, and I already have bruised ribs in my 2 consequence spot, I can't really take much more damage.
Oh, is it a physical consequence? Yeah,
he has a
obviously,
physical one,
bruised ribs. I could cure that for you.
I return.
Did not notice. I can do that, Kurt. If
I'd
you'd
say
like.
just whenever
I
we
mean,
settle
not at
down for
this
a night.
moment.
Yeah,
Well, just
when
whenever
we
we
get
have
out
a-
of this
But
situation.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
Can we cut back to the serpent and Jonas real quick?
Sure.
Okay. So, I engage serpent and I say, why would you need our help to get out of hiding?
There was danger before, but it seems all gone now if you're here.
So first you criticize our linguistic choice of name, and then you tell us that we're not dangerous. I feel like you are a very judgmental serpent.
I wasn't criticizing your choice of name, merely pointing out the significance of it.
And
I'm no judge.
From inside a body, what can you tell about the dangers surrounding?
I can hear, and I hear no conflict, no screams. I can smell, and I smell no blood. I can see, and the thing blinks very slowly. And I see no hounds. So it doesn't seem dangerous anymore.
I'm sold. Let's let him out.
As you say that, there is that rising in intensity coming from the body, as if it is actually begun to very imperceptibly shake, or almost imperceptibly shake, as if it is vibrating. Verk. Up top, Rilo is pointing the gun, and she says, step away right now, or I will unload on this fucking corpse. Nameless crewman has wandered off, Verk. You see him as if like absent, and he's not a man. We all know Nameless crewman really well by now. One thing he's not is absent-minded. He just kind of like looks off and starts wandering as if something has just occurred to him. He begins to wander up the next flight of stairs.
I'll ask Rilo where her man's going.
She like snaps away for a second and then just keeps the gun pointed. She says, Mr. Crewman! Mr. Crewman! First mate! And he just, as if he doesn't hear her, and then he just walks up and then is gone from view. She snarls, but can't peel herself away. She is absolutely ready to blow this thing to pieces. There's a hum coming from her weapon as well.
I'll go back over to the balcony just to watch what's going on down there. At that
Okay.
point, whatever he does is
Up to him.
up to him. That's on him.
Okay.
As all this is happening, can I keep an eye out of the entrance of the
Sure.
So, looking over the balcony, is it just a straight drop with nothing in the way, or is there possibly ropes or chains or anything to help slide down?
There's
I
not.
didn't know if
No.
any like structural columns underneath of where I'm at.
No.
All right.
It is a straight drop onto these people or this corpse.
Cool.
Because I did say that this thing is at the terminus, you would be able to jump right onto this altar from one of the spots in the balcony without
Okay.
hitting the floor, for what it's worth.
But it's still like 60-foot drop.
It's still a decent drop. We'll say more like 40 feet because
40?
this altar's pretty high up, but yeah.
Okay. Parkour.
The rest of you guys, what do you do?
You, two Serpent, you mentioned screaming. You did not hear screaming. Correct?
He said he doesn't hear screaming, like,
Right.
right. Yes.
But we heard screaming a moment ago before we encountered you. What was that? When the eyes were covered.
From where?
From inside. Where was it from? I don't know.
It was from the body.
It was from the body, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It's from the body, but not the mouth. Didn't
Hmm.
move.
No, I can't say that I know what you're talking about. Doesn't sound right to me. It doesn't. How would you put it? Ring a bell?
Yeah. Boy. Serpent.
Talab, you seem conflicted. Stuck. Something's holding you back. And I like you. You have a calm air, a kindly air. I'd like to help you. The aching heart is a terrible thing,
Narrow
a
my
lonely
eyes.
thing.
Are you in my mind right now? I've
beg
heard of
your pardon.
I've heard of psionics.
I assure you I don't know the word. Psionics. No.
You this not to it in general, but I just say out loud. Is this some sort of aberrant? Something that ancient myths, I've never obviously encountered
Sure.
anything like that,
Sure,
but
sure,
like,
sure. Yeah. You normally wouldn't encounter one of those and live tale.
Right,
You've heard stories in your travels.
because this whole situation is smacking of that kind of story, almost like an otherworldly creature of nebulous form and shape, and yet it can read your mind,
Yeah, sure.
I'm not inclined to help you or accept your help.
Well, that's a pity. We've already come so far. We've become such good friends in such a short time. You gave me a window to see. And it blinks again out of the cavity of the side. It'd be a shame to let this go to waste. I would like you, Talab, to roll me a will.
Okay.
And I am going to roll once you're done.
That is
A 3. 3 total, right?
wait, I have a 3, 4 minus 2.
Minus it,
No,
you
I have a
rolled,
4. Oh, okay.
right. And you rolled a minus
yeah.
1.
Yeah.
So 3.
Okay.
I am going to roll rapport at a +3. a total of 3 against your 3 at dead even.
Yeah.
So, as the defender, you win, but barely. It doesn't seem wise. You're right, but something about what he's saying, there's something appealing about it. You're stuck somewhere. You don't know how to get home. You have been stuck emotionally for much longer than that. Your trouble itself, stuck on stage 7. Sorry, Ted, I'm going to compel you. I'm going to compel stuck in stage 7, the aching heart.
Yeah, I was.
You gonna take it?
We're going to.
Yep, you gonna take it?
Because
Alright.
I didn't want to
Yeah.
bring it up necessarily, but
Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and
mentioned
give you a truth.
sure.
So now he succeeds by 2.
Okay.
You have been stuck for so long. Rashida, you remember her face, you remember her smell, you remember her laugh. And every day it seems as if you forget to clutch that token, if you forget to just physically feel the one thing she left behind, her memory fades a little more every day. And every day that it fades, you feel yourself stuck in this al-najwa, the aching heart. More and more you feel as if your journey will never have an end. You'll never see the love that you've been looking for. But this creature, good or evil, seems to have such a ephemeral meaning in this place. How evil can a thing really be if it will show you love?
Maybe it's worth it. Whatever.
Yeah. So because of the compel, the narrative has to take a hard, has to shift. It can't just be that a roll was failed. So you are now going to, I'm going to say you break the other eye.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I put my hand in the eye.
Oh, okay.
Towards the thing to grab it.
You put your hand in and you feel it. It's not slimy. It's smooth and like silk. Impossibly smooth, luxurious even. And now you feel even more comforted. And it says, I need to see, please. And you feel he needs the other eye.
Okay.
Okay. Do you go to break it?
Yes.
Roll me crafts.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mr.
You don't even need 2 hands to do it. You know it so perfectly. You just pick up the dagger. Oh, wow. Beautiful. +4. You just raise your right hand and you just almost drop it on the eye, right on the middle. As soon as your hand goes over top of it, you hear that scream one more time, and then the scream is gone. Eye cracks, the glass flies up and hangs above it, and you hear a thank you. And then the jaw cracks. You see fissures opening up as if this creature is made of stone, and it unhinges like a snake's jaw, and this creature begins to worm its way out from the mouth of this corpse. At this point, Captain Rilo readies the shot and takes it. You hear the hum, and then what emerges from this mouth, just a moment before you hear that hum and that shot, is a creature with, it looks like a human face. It's got a nose, a mouth, 2 eyes, no ears though. And the eyes are lidless, and so when they blink, like you had seen them kind of blink before in there, it's because the folds of skin literally cover them and move away. And as the skin kind of shifts its way around the face, you see the nose covered up and expose again as it breathes in. The nostrils flare, and then as they deflate, the skin covers it. As it says, the skin parts away from the mouth. This very, very thin, almost lipless mouth, just a slit right there above the chin. This thing is on a base of what seems to be a long snake-like body. Completely jet black with striations of gold and silver. And as that, you hear the shot fire from the machine, from the gun. It just twirls up and cranes its neck and looks. And the shot stops and hangs in between it and her. There's a faint blue shimmer in the air, and it's humming and kind of shaking there. And he looks at her, and then just turns away, the shot still hanging there. And he turns back to you all. Thank you. It's been so long. Are any of you doing anything while this is happening?
I'm gonna break the
I'm gonna look
threshold
down
of the door out into the world again, or out into the grave again, instead of being inside of this mausoleum.
Okay, so you book it?
I'm not running. I'm just
Uh-huh.
taking a step through the threshold of the doorway to be on the outside of this building.
Okay, cool. So right as you get to the doors, they slam shut.
I'm gonna be looking at Jonas and Talab, just kind of see what are their reactions. How are they? Do they look back up at me and Rilo?
Talab definitely doesn't. Jonas?
Am I getting any sort of signal to do anything?
Vert, you are a man of agency. You have your own guiding ethos. Frats, you with me?
Hold on a second.
Sure.
What, honey?
He dies tragically, and the serpent eats him.
Wait, Frats or Jonas?
Both.
Frats. No, just
No,
Frats.
Jonas. As the doors slam shut for you, Davros, you hear the serpent make a tsk sound. It says, "Why would you leave, Davros?
Does he
I can
use
give
my
you,
name?
yeah, I can give you everything." There's nothing out there that compares to what's in here.
Can
What
I hear
name?
this conversation going on at all, or?
Yeah. This place echoes like nobody's business.
Well, you said like the first portion of it. You said that I couldn't hear what was going on down there. So
Oh yeah, you definitely can.
yeah, I figured once I saw that they were actually having a conversation, it would be enough to.
Rhino fires a second shot. At which point, okay. There's. Can we mute?
Yeah, I'll
Oh, we can't. We can only mute him locally. Oh, server mute? Are we an admin?
I can.
Yes, I can. No, I muted him as an admin.
Well, I don't know if that does it do it to the stream though.
It says, "Oh, I don't. I think so. I think his stream is coming from Discord." Yeah. So, as Cathedral fires the second shot, and the serpent wheels like she's about to fire it, because she's the only one here with like half of one brain, and she goes to fire it again, and he just looks at her and just kind of like launches himself up out of the mouth. You can see this thing is now maybe 6 feet out of it, and she just stops, frozen, her eyes kind of darting back and forth, but her mouth still open.
Which
And
way is he lunging?
Like towards her, which is also towards you.
All right, so now's here where I want to.
Yeah.
So once I see him do this, I'm gonna hurl myself off of the banister
Uh-huh.
toward the snake.
Great.
So, and
Yeah.
this is where I'm gonna invoke the one-liner fool.
Oh, here it is. Wait. Hold on. You got to wait for everybody to be here for that.
And that's why I was like,
Yeah.
when he walked away, I was
So
just like,
I wanted him to say something. So we'll say as she's powering up the shot before he lunges, right?
Yeah.
He's still going to do it. But he says, do we need her alive? Does anyone respond to that within like the space of 1 second?
that would probably be.
I would say yes.
You
I would
say
say-
yes.
I would say yes. Yeah.
So when you say that, he like lunges and he paralyzes her. At which point, Verk's about to jump. Let's wait for Ted. I don't know where Ted went. Oh, I muted you, Frats. I can unmute you. There we go. Did Ted say he was leaving? No? Frats, in case you missed it, this serpent is lunging at Rilo after she tries to shoot him again. And Verk had about enough of this, and he leaps. Are you leaping off towards it?
I am like almost like a bobsled. Like I kind of pull myself back and like
Yeah, and he launches forward.
Like launch myself off the side.
Yeah, and he's about to do a little one-liner fool. I am going to say this is a DC. This is a perfect time for it. The situation is incredible. Actually, this stunt is worded poorly. I worded it poorly. It's hard to say what a success is. To crack a one-liner, inst ob 0. This should be clear. All right, give me. Give me a second for Frats.
Did I have any time to respond before Rilo?
I'm here.
No.
I'm saying when he was asking me the question.
Sure. Let's say yeah. You have like one sentence before Rilo shoots again.
Okay, so the question would have been, how do you know?
How do you
That's
know?
What I want.
Okay. Before that can happen, Rilo takes the shot. He leaps up towards it. All right, lay down the one line.
So as he's pulling himself back to throw all aboard the pain train.
Fantastic.
And just as he's going through the air,
Mhm.
because there's the time that it takes to go that distance, he lets out a woo woo as he's going to throw his punch.
I'm going to do a little bit of conning here. 4 worlds ago, you guys went to a world of that was in the Steam Age, and you encountered a train for the first time in your travel through the worlds. And at that moment, it sparked. You were on a fight on the train, and the fight you had completed it. You guys had won soundly, and afterwards, with regret, you realized that pain rhymes with train, and you noted to yourself to put this one on the back burner for next time. And you're absolutely beaming that you got to use it here. So that it's time well spent. All right, roll me rapport.
Alright.
Against an ob
It's-
0.
A +2. Let me find the.
Too many windows.
+3. And can I call in fast fists?
You have a no man. You have a +2 to rapport. So that's a 4. That's a 5. You're at a 5.
Oh,
Yeah.
+2 +2, so +4.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep. Actually, again, the language isn't great. You can also call in fast fist and have this at a 7.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that because I want to spend.
Okay. I will pop your refresh down to 2. Your spend up to 4. I put an aspect into play called "All Aboard the pain train. The ob is 0, and you have a 7, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 free invokes. Actually, that's the normal. Yeah, sorry. 4 free invokes to the pain train. This is going to be a completely, as I'm sure you wanted this to be, combat focused. So you have 4 free invokes on any of your fight rolls for as long as this lasts. You can also call on it, so you can use your free invoke and then spend a fate to call on it again to double up if you want.
Okay.
All right. So, okay, what do you are trying to grab it, chop it? What are you trying to do to this?
This is like full on Superman punch.
Yep, you're just trying to in the face.
I am landing on him with my fist.
Yep. Okay. Please roll me fight. Actually, let's roll off. All right. I don't like too many rolls, but this we got to do this right. So this creature has superhuman reflexes, and it's able to completely stop Rilo with a look. You got to get in there before it realizes what the fuck you're doing. You're off to a good start because no one is stupid enough to do this, so it does not see this coming. Roll. Let's do a notice. If you beat him on the notice, you're going to get a fight that it cannot defend against an ob 0. If you fail the notice versus him, he is going to get a defense on this and potentially try to fuck you up. So I'll go first on my notice at a +4.
Jeez.
0 total of 4. Mediocre. You can definitely invoke Pain Train on this too.
Yes. So it will definitely be Pain Train.
Well, you might not need it, but you might roll.
What's
great.
that?
You might not need it. You might roll great.
Oh yeah.
Notice is a 2. You have to beat a 4.
So I have to get a 2 or better.
A -1, so your total is a 1. You can invoke Pain Train. You have to get 1 more. You can either burn a truth for a reroll, or burn it for another aspect to beat him on notice.
So I am going to burn 1 for a reroll.
Okay. Take it off your refresh, put it in your spent.
Well, the all aboard the Pain Train using the free invokes. Does that count as or is that only for plus?
It's only for combat-based actions, not for.
No, that doesn't count for your spent. That's just like free invokes. You're not using truth for that.
But he's
so
saying
you used
he was hoping to use one of those 2 rerolls.
Yeah. No, that's used for a specific purpose.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So your default truth is spent. You reroll it.
And pull this back up.
That puts you at that actually might be exactly enough.
That's a 4, I believe.
It is a 4 with the Pain Train at 3. Okay, so it looks at right as it realizes what you're about to do. Its eyes go wide, but it's too late. Go ahead and roll me fight.
And
Zero plus 4 for fight. That's a 4. You gonna bring in the Pain Train?
I'm bringing in the Pain Train.
All right, I'm gonna bring that down to 2. So a total of a 6 on fight. You want to throw anything else in there?
Let's just pull my high concept. Dimwitted Pugilist of the Pit.
This is this is the thing a Dimwitted Pugilist would do. All right. You are out of truth. You are down to 0. You are at 6 spent. This is now a +8 fight roll against a 0, so you succeed with style 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 times. It lands you hear a crunch. I'm going to say as it freezes Rilo, it starts to turn its head to respond to you, Davros. And you said, "How do you know what it is I want?" And he says, "I know what everyone wants." crunch, just a absolute. You hear the teeth crunch on themselves and crack. 4 of them fly out of its face and clatter on the ground, and this thing is just rolling. It sounds like we're about to roll initiative here.
And all you hear echoing through the whole chamber is woo woo.
Yeah, sorry, and the pain train. Yeah, so he goes, I know what everyone will. Woo woo, and he's like, what the? And then the fist.
Nice.
All right, let's. You are out of truth, but you just landed an 8-point hit. This guy has taken a 6-point consequence and a 2-point physical stress.
Jeez.
So there's not much more to go here. We still have to get its 4 and its 2 locked in, but yeah. Okay, so actually, can I eat? No, I got to do it a 6 and a 2. Yeah. So let's go ahead and roll initiative. I still want to change the way we do it, but for right now, let's do. Well, so there is a way to do it that I'm kind of fond of in Fate, which is basically everyone just kind of agrees on a starting initiative. Who would go in what order based on the narrative that's at play? So first is Bill. Or actually, I'm going to say Bill's last. He just launched a completely uninhibited attack. He's mid-fall, so Bill's definitely last on initiative.
I'm still gonna have to kind of recover from that.
Right.
The amount of speed.
I'm
that
second
got
to
on.
last because I'm by the door and I'm not too keen on fighting.
For sure. I'm going to say Talab is closer, but still towards the bottom of this because he is kind of still entranced by this. We'll see what the shaking this guy out does. Jonas is going to roll off with the serpent, I think. And Rilo is not in the fight. She is paralyzed, and Nameless Crewman is out here. He is on this another level doing God knows what. So Jonas, why don't you roll off with me on a notice roll against this creature?
Did the creature ask everybody something or talk to everybody for a second that I missed?
Didn't get a chance because he got punched in the face.
He did ask me a question.
What did he say?
What the?
Oh yeah, that's true. He asked Jonas only because Davros started to leave, so he slammed the doors shut. I was like, why would you leave when I can offer you all these? And then the conversation got cut short. So yeah, let's do a notice roll off here.
2.
What do you have? 2. We only got a +4. 5. This creature goes first, which is fair. It has great reflexes and only recently got caught off. So Serpent, Jonas, Talab, Davros, Bill.
Damn it.
Oh my god, I wrote Bill. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
No, Bill's in this fight. Bill, you are in this fight. Good luck. You just punched a serpent. Serpent goes first. It just turns. So Bill, as you're midair, where are you hoping to land?
Let's see here. I'm imagining that from where I'm looking down, I'm going to be almost vertical with the body.
Yeah.
And Talab and Jonas are going to be off to the side slightly.
Correct.
I'm going to be going straight, so it's going to be, I guess, straight and slightly left. Like, when I go to hit, kind of do a tuck and roll off, so I'll land past the body, probably.
Okay.
That's where I'm envisioning it.
Okay, we'll get that on your turn. So you're going to just try to roll past it. You don't want to collide with the body, you're saying?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I figured. Or obviously your
I'm just kind of trying to punch through it.
Yep, you
and
sure
with
did.
the intention of rolling off the whatever I can of the fall.
Yeah. So it reels around and says, "There is nothing here for you. And you can feel it. It's saying this to you, Verk, as you roll by, but its voice is almost overshadowed by the woo-hoo that's just like now going by
Still
Doppler
echoing.
effect as you're going by. I would say the first woo was pre-punch, and the second one is post-punch as you go off. There is a slithering sound, and you see all around you the three that you can see shrouded bodies begin to unravel, and the white what you thought was fabric begins to roll off of them and gliding across the columns and the balcony towards the creature, as he is now surrounded with 30 to 40 beautiful shimmering white ribbons, almost like tendrils, like the angel's wing from Diablo, almost. How they have those as tendrils of light. And you begin to hear movement from the balcony as whatever was shrouded is now beginning to get up from the mausoleum. For the duration of combat, until you guys, figure out how to fucking deal with it, I'm going to put an aspect into play on the scene. I'm going to cut out the... I'm gonna change the world aspects to just clean this up a little bit. So if I copy and paste, how bad is that? That shouldn't mess with anything, right? Oh, it might.
Yeah, as long as all the updates on the Google Sheet are saved in the same order.
Someone roll me a D10. Ted, it's you.
Say what?
D10, please.
D10. Where you at?
D10, reroll ones.
Okay.
No cheating. A 2. Broken marble. Fantastic.
Oh.
Nice. Great.
Dan,
Yep,
remind
great
me
effect.
what the entirety of this building is made out of?
It's marble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With gold and silver veins running through it. Also, like our serpent.
It's true. It's almost as if it is made of the same material. Almost as if this thing and the spire are linked in some way. So for the remainder of this combat, everything that's made of marble in here is going to attack you every single turn. The spire begins to crack and shatter and reach out, and you see it form blades from the ceiling, from beneath the balcony, stalactites. The floor begins to open up into jaws, large cavernous maws that just begin to open and then snap shut. As they snap, you hear the stone cracking and breaking and then reforming itself. So there's now everything is made out of living marble, and it is attacking all of you every turn on your turn. The serpent is just floating there watching this happen. Jonas, your turn. First, a piece of marble attacks you. So you're standing on the dais, right? Like the altar?
Yeah, I mean, wasn't I on top of the guy still holding the talisman?
Sure, that's what I'm asking. So
Yeah.
yes? Mm-hmm. Okay. So and you still have the talisman, right? In your right hand, I imagine?
Sure, yes.
Yeah, okay. So we're gonna say for you, you're very close to the balcony. So one of the balcony spires, almost like the railing melts and forms itself into a point and just collapses through like a raindrop falling off of a roof, coming down towards you. Please roll me. Sounds like athletics, unless you can think of a better defense for this.
What's my rapport with the marble?
Oh, it's not great. It's not great.
Gonna talk your way out of it hitting you in the head.
Uh-huh.
Wait, just wait.
Hold on a second.
Well, I was rolling my athletics. What's up? Oh, that you guys were doing a bit. Okay.
That was a
Um,
joke.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
I rolled. I don't have athletics, so I rolled a 2.
Okay, that barely meets. You are not hit by this. It is an odd 2. So it just crashes down right to the side. You just sidestep, and it crashes down. It is now your turn. What do you do? So the entire spire is coming to life and attacking you guys. The creature is shrouded in these white ribbons of sorry, and as the ribbons touch it, at the point of contact, they begin to turn black like it. As if I need to really hammer home that this is its skin. And also from above you on the balcony, right near a paralyzed and defenseless Rilo, the creatures are whatever was shrouded is waking up and clambering towards you guys, though you can't see them yet.
Is the talisman doing anything?
No, it is. It is slightly warm to the touch, and there is still the sound. This like just furious, paralyzed rage coming from this body.
Oh, from the body.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any kind of connection I can see from the serpent to the body?
It is still much of it is still within the body. So let's say there's about 15 feet of it now up in the air. It is still whatever, you don't know how much is left, but it's still, what, does that make sense? Like he's still coming from the eye socket, or sorry, from the mouth, from the open mouth of this body. The rest of it is still within.
Okay. Would it be too much of a leap for Jonas to imagine if the creature were to be freed completely from the body, maybe the body would become not paralyzed?
That's like a straight up
leap.
Yeah, like I can't.
Yeah. I feel like there's. Oh, sorry, I have a crying baby.
Put that aspect in play, crying baby.
Yes, yeah. If we could do 73 screams
Yeah.
all night at 3 a.m., that would be...
Yeah, that's the aspect.
One aspect is feed me, one is change me, and one is burp me.
Yeah, perfect.
I feel like there's 2 different angles I could kind of go after with Jonas, but this kind of played out super weird to me. So I don't know. I feel like I want to sever his connection to the body.
Okay.
And I'm not quite sure how that would work.
Okay.
So maybe casting a spell to force his exit of the body, to force his body completely out of to force the serpent to leave the corpse.
Okay, pitch me the kind of spell that might do that.
Some kind of telekinesis where I would be pulling at the serpent's body, and I would literally pull, like grab a hold of it, almost like magic handing it, and then exerting physical force to it through magic.
Okay. Sure. That's going to be a tough ob. Let's think about this. This creature, you don't know how much of it is inside, and it is supremely powerful. Perhaps not very physically strong, but at least has a great command over this place and this realm. Is
I'm here.
I'm going to say an ob 4. It's going to be a difficult roll. You need a 4 to start to pull this thing out of this body. Via telekinesis.
Okay. An ob 4 via telekinesis is if I'm casting magic, right?
Uh-huh.
Then I would. Oh no! I'm sorry. I'm changing my plan completely.
Okay.
What did he do to cast the broken marble? Whatever to turn the surface of every part of this building into an enemy?
What do you mean? What did he do? He just he did it.
But he cast
he
something, right?
he opened. So he invoked the worlds. He opened up a rift to the worlds, as you guys have seen a few times. And Ted rolled it, so it happened to be broken marble, which is very convenient for me.
Right.
But yeah, he doesn't have hands, so he doesn't do the calling forth to the grave like you've seen. But we'll say he looked upwards, and well, the grave is all around you guys, so he just kind of pulled in from the surrounding, basically rolled world right. He had a really high world right, and opened up, opened passage to a world. In this case, broken marble.
So I would like to use my stunt. That's all right, for a moment of silence to try to oppose
Sure.
his world right call. And
Sure.
I would like to, while doing that, burn a truth on believe me or don't believe me, I'm hardly wrong, for making the assumption that I have any control over this.
Yeah. So this is exactly right. You're rolling against world right opposition, defend or overcome. This is an overcome. So you're not defending, he hasn't attacked you, but he has put an obstacle in play. In this case, an aspect. You want to overcome that aspect and remove it or neutralize it. So you're going to roll, I imagine, magic. It actually should be magic or world right. I'm going to put that in there.
Okay.
You have the same score in both, but it makes sense.
Yeah, and eventually if I level up maybe world right separately,
Right.
it would grow a different way, yeah.
Right. So you're not gonna attack him at all. You are simply going to try to counteract and cut off the effect of this.
Yes.
All right. So that is still a +4. That is very difficult to do. And what I will say is, on a success, you will neutralize it for 1 round. On a succeed with style, you will neutralize it for 2, which is a lot. And you're gonna pre burn a truth for believe me, don't believe me, I'm hardly wrong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're rolling world right at a +6. You need to get a +4. Oh my god, you just barely made it. You would have to either re-roll or invoke twice more to get a succeed with style. It's up to you, but for right now, you're going to get a basic success, which means you kind of mute this effect for 1 round.
I'll re-roll it.
You will, okay?
Does that count as also spent?
Yes. Anytime that you use a truth to do anything, anytime it leaves the refresh column, and it goes to spent.
All right.
To make it much simpler.
I'm at like a -6 rapport with this. Okay. All right. So that became +6 overall.
Okay. So not with style, unfortunately. Yeah. You need to succeed with by 3 or more, but a definite success. You actually, this is core gamesmanship. Meeting it, if you're meeting an overcome, you actually don't get the thing you want. You get a small boost. So you actually wouldn't have gotten it for a round at all. This gives it to you for a round. So this is pretty cool. Broken Marble Invoke is not just that the marble comes alive. It's that it in the space of 1 unit of time, whatever it ends up being for the scene, it grows, comes to life, activates, and is destroyed. So all the marble is frozen as it was. There is a maw reaching up out of the ground towards Davros. There is a arm out of the palm of which is coming forth a giant blade that is pointed right towards, it's about to spear Verk through the throat, that just stops mid-push. Against Talab, there were coils of black marble reaching up to grab him by the feet that just stop right as they're reaching towards him. Each of the coils having 11 fingers coming out of it to grab his ankles. All of these are stopped. The entire length of the spire is full of marble contorted into strange shapes, as if the gargoyles themselves were inverting to come within to swarm down upon you. All of that completely halted. So great work. Next up is Talab. So Talab, I'm going to say that the effect of the compel is safely done. You've seen what it's wrought. You are welcome to act of your own free will once again. What do you do? It is now clear that this creature is made out of the same material as the spire, also out of the same material as the shrouds. There are things coming to life. Talab has Jonas has temporarily stopped the effect of the broken marble, and this creature, the paralyzed, now eye shattered, mouth open creature on the slab, is trying to groan through its paralysis to say something. Also, Rilo is paralyzed up atop with a phenomenally powerful matter-destroying weapon. Oh, and should this come into play, in between Rilo and this creature is a suspended in mid-air, still frozen beam of energy.
I'm gonna have to hold my action.
Sure.
Yeah.
You have a plan you're working on, or you're not sure what to do?
I'm thinking of something, but
okay. Davros, let's not take your time.
Am I able to utilize world right?
You are. Hold on. Sorry. Let me establish zones. I'm very bad at this. Zone 1 is very simply the first floor of this, and Zone 2 is going to be the floor above. So Rilo is one zone above. Past that probably won't come into play, but Zone 3 would be the outside, and Zone 4 would be the next level up from that. Though I doubt you guys will get this fight. Carry
on. Well, first off, am I able to understand? I'm assuming I'm able to understand that Jonas manipulated things to his will. Yeah, like we know what world right and Gravewise are essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. Jonas, do you have a little bit of, very quickly in one sentence, like what did that look like? What did you do to stop this?
I'd like to think the stalactite. Which one comes from the top? The stalactite that was
stalactite.
That was falling. I stepped to the side and it fell and shattered, maybe, and then I.
Not a big deal. It doesn't have to be
like I don't know. I'm.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm lost. Hold on.
That's okay. You did what you did last time. You raised your hand up and called to the grave and stopped it. So Davros, yeah, you know exactly what he did. We'll see that there is a we'll build this out later, but there is a sound, an indication. There's some manifest form that if you are well versed in the grave, you know when someone is casting world right magic.
Okay, and what does am I know is the serpent stopping as well, because he's kind of made of this stuff?
He is, but he was able to move even before this thing was brought to life, so he is still moving.
Right.
He is snarling as he realizes what Jonah. But next round he's going to kick it right back into play. So.
Okay, I would like to. This is what I would like to do. I would like to see. Well, first off, realizing that there was a hand that was coming out to grasp me, spring into action at that point, seeing it stop, seeing Jonas manipulate this stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I'd like to sprint towards the serpent, and I would like to utilize World Right.
Uh-huh.
Try not to step on the body on the altar, but sprint towards the altar, jump on the altar, and then utilizing World Right, grab the blaster bolt or whatever that energy was that's hovering in midair.
Okay.
And then slam it into the serpent.
Oof. Okay. Wow. Okay. Let's see how much truth this is going to cost. So, damn. So that's, I guess. Yeah, World Right. So explain to me what aspect this. You can get real weird with this. How do you use World Right to do that? What about the world? Because you're in the grave, the nexus of all worlds, and in fact, the ground is itself warped World Light. How do you use the worlds to do this?
I already have the answer to that. The World Right part that I am changing is my ability to grab that energy without it harming me.
But world build a little bit for me here, Kurt. What world lets you? From what world do you draw this power? Songs, cathedrals, crucibles, ruin, worms, madness, constellations, broken marble, and oceans.
I'm gonna say madness because only a madman would grab a bolt of energy standing in midair, thinking to be able to use it as a weapon with the palm of his hand.
I'll go one further. It is in madness. The world shifts as all the worlds do according to the whim, but in madness they move in strange and unnatural ways. It is literally madness to take this energy and just push it aside and move it. And it is that very madness that it begins to operate against its own physics. You believe that you can do it. You believe in this insanity, and so the insanity is made into truth. As you leap up, there is a. You still have Bright. Did you give him Brightholm's sword back?
Yes, he did, because I have it in my inventory. I think that was the last thing that we did before the end of last session.
Yeah. As you're leaping up, you hear a chuckling sound. And you kind of like, you do your little parkour thing. You're clambering off of that. There's like the hand and there's the sword. You jump onto the blade of the sword and leap up. And as you're mid leap, you just like touch it. Almost maybe like to like a, can't think of what sport this would be, but you're like grabbing it and then like pushing it down. Like an empty hand martial art, pushing the weapon away. Right as you touch it, you're in a room on the other side of a table. There's Brightholm. There's her soul. Her face is scarred and disfigured. There's an open, like you can see through her chest cavity. You had blown her apart. Part of her jaw is drooping. Her face is sagging. And she's missing most of the fingers on her right hand. And she's kind of drumming her gnarled hands on the table. Welcome. I've been here waiting for you. She's looking around and you can see that you are in this. You've invoked madness so purely. You can see where she was, that soul inside the tree, in the world of madness. Where you had taken your first life. How did you get here, I wonder? Such adventures. Such travels. I'm keen to see them. I'm keen. And she lunges forward and screams in your face, to be alive! She's spittle and blood flies onto your face. She lurches forward and is stopped as if she's chained to something. Her soul still bound to this shard of madness. You see behind her, the back of her chair is not a chair. It is the blade of her sword writ large, some 10 feet high now, the hilt of which poking through the ceiling of this crude room swirling in madness. She's chained to the blade itself. What do you say? You just wipe the spittle off?
Yeah, I've wiped the spittle off. And my response is, you mean you haven't been able to see this whole time? Chained here, prisoner of this world.
She smiles and leans in just like half an inch closer, straining the chains now. If I'm even here at all. It's not hard to figure out, Davos, this is madness. Even existence here is up for debate. Maybe I'm just in your head. Maybe I'm you. Maybe this is all you. She snaps her head back, and for the split second, it's the face of your father. And then it's back to her.
If it's all me, it's going to be one strange trip. I'll tell you that.
She leans back, and as she leans back as if she's letting the chains pull her, her arms are outstretched and they claw against the table, leaving marks. And then she snaps against the blade, winks at you, and the whole thing is gone. Roll me world right, please.
And also, I do want to invoke a couple of things here, if I'm
You're
able
probably
to.
going to need to. Let me establish a baseline difficulty. You guys are. No one has rolled anything that makes any sense. No one's like, oh, I stab it in the leg. Everyone's rolling these +4, +6 monstrosities. God damn. So you want to. It's all right. I know what to do. It's a ob4 to break it and redirect it. However, you will absolutely take damage from this unless you succeed with style or figure out something else. We'll say we'll say ob3 to redirect it and a 6 to not be hurt by it.
And this is a world right roll, yeah?
Correct.
Okay.
This is basically an attack.
Because I actually would like to invoke 3 separate things here.
Well, you have 3 truth.
Planning on doing all 3 of them at this point in time. The first one would be a life raised by the Ironside thieves, utilizing that as I'm jumping from marble to marble, from thing to thing. Just the history of his job as a thief and as the acrobatic side of him. Actually, no, sorry. It was World of Broken Marble that I wanted to do for that one.
Sure.
Yeah. And then I wanted to invoke the high concept, there are no men like me, because this is, in his mind, a pretty unique thing to be able to, or at least others would view it that way.
No one would try to do this.
Yeah,
this is insane.
That he would be able to do this with this energy bolt.
Yeah, you're trying to grab a live missile out of the air. It's insane. So yeah.
Yeah. And then and actually I thought I was going to just utilize 2 of them for the running and stuff like that, but so I may only be able to invoke 2 of them.
I'd like to real quick.
Yeah.
He's physically still here, right?
Davros?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Nothing visually changes for you guys. That all happens in a split second in his head.
Okay. I was thinking that, but I wanted to be sure.
It is.
You never know.
it is genuinely not clear if like he went somewhere, if Brightholm is in this sword, or if Davros is just a little bit insane.
But he is sort of, since you said you were jumping up on the altar and then jumping up, correct?
Yeah. So imagine kind of like Quicksilver in the X-Men when he's like doing his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jumping from thing to thing. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
one thing that I had been aware of was, and I was thinking of doing maybe later, was really healing your consequence. And this gives me a perfect opportunity when you're running by to just kind of lay my hands on you. I'm not sure what your goal is, but
Which gives him a truth.
yeah.
And if he ends up taking damage from this, it may very well save his life because he's going to take away his 2-point consequence.
So that's my move. My held move
Sure.
is to use my stunt, take a deep breath, and I'm
Describe it to me.
to
I'll allocate the truth while you talk.
almost to the whole group, but definitely to you since you're about to jump into the fray, and I have not. I just kind of say softly, "I'm sorry. And
You cut out. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was weak, and it's everything for me is in the pursuit of love." So I want to use magic to try to heal him.
Sure.
You know what? I have a question real quick, though.
Yeah.
When I sort of plunged the dagger into the eyes, and it was inside the eyes, is there any kind of liquid in the body that may have gotten on him, on that dagger? In the eyes?
It's a stretch, but okay. I had seen it as you just barely tapped the eye.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you want to burn a truth to say if you have an idea for having some of the slime on it for some reason, I will ask you to burn a truth for it. Because we did establish, and the fact you have a specific aspect, the exact right amount of pressure. So
yeah,
it was very precise. You
It
did
could
not
just
get
be-
anything on you.
Oh, okay. I was thinking maybe it could even be just the tiniest dot.
If you want to use it for this, if you're welcome to gather it
I'll
afterwards.
burn.
If you want.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll do that.
You
But I
don't,
guess
you don't need it for this
affect
move.
this then. All right,
Okay,
that's
then
fine.
no.
So I'm going to
Roll magic.
At a +4.
4.
Hasn't showed up.
Oh,
There we go.
I think I
It's
had
even.
Frats had dice in play.
Does that look
I'll take
right?
it off. I'll take it
Yeah, Frets is off now.
off. There you go, 0. So +4 total. Ob is a 2 because it's a 2-point consequence. So you make it. Not enough to get a boost, unfortunately. But so as he says, "I'm sorry." What else did you say? I'm sorry for all of this.
I'm sorry for being weak. That everything that I do is for love, basically.
You're kind of saying that to yourself, and
Yeah.
as he jumps off
to
the
him,
altar.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. But as he jumps on the altar, Davros, you hear the "in the pursuit of love," and he kind of trails off, and he just kind of like taps you on the shoulder as you're like bounding past him, leap on the altar, and you feel this surge of energy that puts you up to 4 truth. You're burning 2 of it. You're burning broken marble and There Are No Men Like Me for a total of a +4.
Yeah, and I think I want to also utilize. I think I can make a case for utilizing a life raised by the Ironside Thieves to be able to, in the air, just do that acrobatic feat of this plus aiming and trying to find a mark.
Okay.
Because I think in and of itself, it would be,
You're not just trying to get it. You're not just trying to survive it. You're trying to aim it, redirect it, and have it hit right on the target.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll take you down to 1 truth.
And
and
use
you have
mine too.
That was including the one that you gave him. So that's a total of a +6.
Are my bruised ribs healed too?
They're
Does that
completely healed.
matter?
You can take that off. Yeah. I hope I hit you like a truck next round. So that's a +6, and your total rolled rate is a 2, so that's a +8 you are rolling. So it's an 11. That is a +11 roll.
Let's see.
I am going to roll notice against you. This thing doesn't need athletics or physique. It simply has to know a thing is coming to be able to stop. I'm rolling notice as I did before at a +4. Total of a +3. Difference of 8. Its 6 points consequence is full, thanks to Bill. So its 4 point is full. 4. Its 2 point physical stress. 5, 6. No, 2 point physical stress is already filled because Verk hit him for 8. So 4 point consequence, 2 point consequence, that's 6. 1 point physical, that's 7. He has 7 consequence and stress left, and he just got hit for 8. So that is it. So you leap up, twist in the air. I'm gonna put a little cruel spin on this for you, Davros. So life raised by Iron Scythes is your trouble. Can I lay some real talk on you here on Father's Day, of all days?
Of course.
So you just saw your father in that vision, and as you redirect it, his winking face, the reason you make the shot is because you remember what he would do to you. You remember the times that he would have you leap from roof to roof. The first time you leapt, and then you heard a twang and a thunk, and then right behind you, a crossbow bolt stuck into the building. And he smiled and said, "Practice. They're going to be shooting at you too." It wasn't funny to you as a kid. You dug a couple bolts out of your legs. You dug one perilously close to your spine. He cut you, he hurt you, he shot you, but you got better. You're the man you are today, in many ways, because of him. It's not a pleasant thought. As you twist, you see that wink as his face flashed on Brightholmes for that split second, further confusing you as to if this is really a trapped Brightholm or your own psyche now just starting to fragment under the fact that you just started to murder people and are invoking world right magic. It scares you. What's even scarier is that this fear doesn't affect your aim in the slightest. Your body just moves like a dancer and just redirects this energy towards him. The creature, the serpent, does notice, looks up at the energy, takes in a deep breath, and it just passes through this thing's face, and it's no longer there. The marble serpent, there's no blood, there's no goo. It just hardens, freezes completely into place. Upstairs, because we didn't even get to round 2, you hear the thunk, thunk, thunk of 3 bodies falling to the floor. And all of the marble that was twisted and warped stays that way. So this spire is now a terrifying shredder of blades and hands and monstrous appendages swarming out of the walls. Rilo unfreezes now that the creature is dead, and she fires again. She just like pulls it back. Davros, it's too late for her to stop the shot that was coming.
I kind of thought that was going to be
it's probably too late for you to move. She finishes whatever she was shouting. Let's say she had started, "You son of," and then the froze, and now you just hear "bitch," and then boom, Davos, you are up in the air mid-twist. You just landed an impossible shot. I am not really going to give you much in the way of defense here. I will let you roll notice. To just you, there's not much you can do if
At
you
least
see it
I'll
coming.
see it coming.
At least you'll see it coming. You can try to just twist a little bit out of the way, or to like put something like cover up your body. Why is there 2 dice still on there?
Fate dice is clicked.
I'm sorry, that's my fault. So total of 1.
Yeah.
We'll see if you want to spend anything on that. So, as I mentioned before, Rylo's shoot. Actually, I have it. Do I have it on here? Did I? Shit. Because I moved the sheet to the old version. Her shoot's a 3. So, not that bad. So, total of 4. That is a succeed with style. We're not going to bother putting an aspect into play here because she's not actively fighting you. That's a 4-point hit. You have your physical stress is full, unfortunately, my friend. So you have to take that as a 4-point consequence. How do you take this 4-point hit?
Can I re-roll?
You can. You do have 1 truth.
Ooh,
We're going to say this is part of the
Yeah.
same. I'm not going to let you use any aspect you already rolled to do the action.
Okay. I'm just gonna take it because
Yeah.
I can't find anything that I would invoke.
I can't justify anything either. So 4-point consequence. What does this look like, guys? What is a 4-point energy beam weapon consequence?
A burnt hole.
Right as the shot's about to hit Davros, the marble from above him was coming down, and they meet right in front of him, and he is blasted by marble shrapnel.
Yes, that's so good. Because it is really hard to do a 4-point consequence for a thing that obliterates flesh. That's excellent. That's great. So, and this is terrifying dark magic marble too. Wonderful. This just gets better and better. And well, the consequence will be for Davros, embedded black marble. So it's a good thing you lost that 2-point consequence because otherwise you'd only have your 6 left. So there's that. You it just punctures you and you crunch to the ground. I don't want to have anyone roll. I don't want to fuck you too bad. Verk, do you catch him?
Are you doing that thing where you're writing him in the wrong spot again?
No, it's his consequence. It's not going to appear on the aspects.
Consequence. My bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his consequence.
Have I fully recovered from my?
Yeah.
Thing?
It's basically not, he's the last person to go. It's top of the round.
Wasn't Burke the last person in that round?
Oh, Verk is the last person. Okay, this might get dicey. So now all right. Now you have to fall. Let's just play this out for real. Roll me athletics.
That I can do.
To tumble. 2.
4.
Total of 4. Okay. You just bounce off of something. You turn towards Verk and bounce off of Verk physically. He breaks your fall. Verk, you just kind of fall on your butt, it doesn't knock you totally prone, but you're not quite ready for it. And
I just stood up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he caught me just as I was coming up.
The shrapnel feels like a cold burn in your chest. So, I'll give you guys 1 action each before the next thing happens. What do you guys do in response to this? So again, the creature's body is now hardened marble suspended in the air, up out of this guy's torn open jaw.
Is the talisman doing anything now?
You never got to do anything with the talisman. Not in response to this, no. You still got it though.
Can I signal to Rilo to shoot the marble snake serpent thing that's coming out of it? Try to get it to shatter.
Sure. What do you say to her?
Destroy that shit.
She she snaps back and looks at Davros, starts to apologize, but sees that he's like not dead, kind of shrugs her shoulders, and then lines it up, hits the top and like a what's it called? Prince Edward's drop? Is that what it's
Rupert.
called? Prince Rupert?
I think it is.
That glass sort of teardrop where if you hit the tail, the whole thing shatters. It hits the marble and everything just cracks and shatters and then is suspended there, again, as if in a neutral gravity zone right above it, floating along with the glass from the man's eyes. Because this thing is directly over this guy's actual gaze. So it's actually only part of it does. The part that is directly in his where his gaze was is floating. The rest of it falls to the ground and craters.
Is there any sound coming from the body now?
There is a low groan, like the beginning of weeping. Its jaw is still horrifically kind of like hinged open and broken.
And John, sorry.
Go ahead.
Can Jonas walk over to Davros in kind of like a brotherly, like making sure he's okay, and then kind of like tap him on the shoulder or the chest, like lightly, but where he got hit, and be like, it's a good thing that guy thought the danger was gone.
Oh,
Frat, you beat me to it.
So what were you gonna do, Ted?
I was gonna ask. I was gonna put my ear to its chest. Does it react in any way by chance? Whether it sounds or do I hear anything more?
You hear a low thrumming coming from inside the hollow of this thing's cavity. And the sound like a faraway ocean. Almost like your ear is holding up to a shell. Very slowly, there's a creaking and cracking sound. And the neck starts to turn. And a couple things become apparent. First, that, like I mentioned to you, Verk, it's like this place has only been here, like this happened yesterday because of there's no dust anywhere. As this body turns, it is not simply that the body was paralyzed. It's that the flesh has practically lithified. It is almost stone. Whatever thing is in this spire, this temple, and however long it's been, it has turned this man's flesh slowly but surely to stone. Whatever this creature inside of it did, however it was put there, why ever it was put there, this man had become not just a host, but a coffin for this creature. You see shards of flakes of lithified flesh start breaking off onto the floor as it turns its head to you. You see the shredded remains of a tongue in the open hanging wall. And again, the head is like this big, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet across, whatever it would be for a 20-foot person. And the hand that was reaching up to the sky falls, and as it drops, it shatters. And it's cracking. He holds out his hand to you, to Lob. The right hand that was hanging there. Do you grab it?
Yes.
It takes both of your hands to grab his one.
Right.
And he starts to pull you in close as if to tell you something. But as he's doing it, it is because this is literally destroying him. His flesh is shattering as he just strains to move it. Do you let him pull you in close?
Yeah.
As if the last bit of moisture in this body, you see a tear fall out of the cavity where his eyes once were, And as he turns the head to you, he's no longer looking up. The shards of glass fall and clatter all around him. You can see on each piece of glass the different curvature of iris, glints of the green and gold that were once this creature's eyes. The single tear almost reaches down the whole face and then kind of stops and itself lithifies as it crawls down his flesh. And it says something to you. As you're trying to piece together this strange sound like stone slowly scraping against itself, you hear the spire itself echo, "I'm sorry." And then the body completely shatters. All of it just cracks bit by bit. And the altar is now just a pile of flesh-colored rubble, surrounded by the folds of cloth, and now the talisman limply hanging on nothing.
I just kind of I fall onto the altar, obviously, through this, right?
Oh, yes, yeah.
And I'm just sort of like kneeling over this rubble, and some part of me thinks that I don't know what this creature was or where it came from, but it's obviously had to have been of some significant power, especially if this other thing was feeding off of
Uh-huh.
and I just want to not this isn't I don't want it to be seen as like a looting,
Yeah.
but I want to actually scoop up some of its body,
Yeah.
and bring it with me, not almost as a like
No, I got you.
token of either remembrance, but also I don't know, maybe it has some kind of healing property or some kind of property I don't know yet.
Sure. Absolutely.
So I'm gonna take some of this, but I'm also gonna just say a prayer to it.
Any particular part you take?
I guess he was pulling me close to his mouth, so where the tongue would be, I guess.
Sure, the shredded remains of his tongue.
The shredded tongue.
Okay.
Desiccated.
Yeah.
Ruined.
Let's put that in your extras. Shredded remains of a stone tongue.
You didn't want his tear.
It's
one tear.
You can grab the tear.
Oh my
too.
God, yes. Thank you. I was gonna ask, actually, I was like, was there not any little bit of liquid left? And you're right.
I mean, it's a
Yeah.
stone tear, so
Yeah.
it's
But I gotta have it.
solid.
Yeah.
Um,
It hasn't quite completely solidified. It's almost like a goo, and you're able to grab it.
yeah.
That's fine.
Thank you for catching that.
Yeah. I'll put that on one of your extras.
Almost.
Almost lithified tear.
Almost like a wet sand. Would you call
Yeah.
that? Or
Yep. That's perfect. That's a great description of it. The altar begins to kind of move, and you feel the top of it slide out from underneath you, Talab. The shattered pieces just kind of vibrate and fall to the ground all around it, falling into the rubble of this ruined service. And the altar itself stops, and then there is a sound like a gunshot, and the altar cracks in half and opens up. There's a massive, again, 20-foot by 10-foot altar. It is completely hollow. At the base of it, in a small pool of blood, unadorned, unornamented, not in any kind of elaborate jar or setting, is a massive heart Still fresh, still red. As you look down at the heart, you see a spectral hand scoop it up. And as you look up, you see the ghostly apparition of what was once this man, standing there holding his own heart. And he grabs it and he pumps it manually. And you see the apparition kind of like pulse with light and become a little more opaque for just a second. And then as it fades a little more than it was before. He pumps it again, and it pumps a little weaker. And he says, as if he's finishing the thought from before he had said, "I'm sorry," and now he says, "For what I have done, for what we have done." Pumps it again. "There is little time. I will answer what I can. I will give you the wisdom of ages." Pumps it again. "What do you need?" "What is the world like now?" Actually, I'll rephrase it. He says, "I will answer your questions, but first, answer me, what is the world like?"
This world is broken. Body was. I don't know what that. Do you know what that creature was that did this to you?
It looks at you as if it's beginning to piece together that you don't know. You maybe stumbled across this. You didn't come here for a reason. "Oh, no. You don't know. You have stumbled across this place, and you are lost." He picks up a piece of the stone shard that almost falls through his fingers. He has to pump the heart again to solidify the apparition. "This is the Leviathan, or a piece." He let it clambers to the floor. "You did not come to free him or to kill him. Why did you come?"
We did not choose to come. We were brought here by followers of the Leviathan. I might not know that, do I?
Yeah, I mean,
The Leviathan was in their talk, but he says it in common, I guess, or
he says it in whatever language you understand.
okay. So whatever. We did not choose to come here. We were brought here, and we're looking for a way home. I'm looking for a way home, and then I kind of drift off, and I think home. There's, I'm just lost in thought now after saying that to him. But
he
that's
looks
all
at you with remembrance. He understands exactly as you drift off, talking about home. There is no home anymore. You say this world is broken, and then Falstatin did not succeed. I cannot see outside these walls, and I can never leave it. Nor would I have the time. But we failed. We failed you, children of the engines, children of the machines. And the Leviathan tries to pick up another shard, and this time he can't even muster the physicality to hold onto it. It just falls right through. He can't even pick it up. The Leviathan, in his hunger, still lives in pieces.
Heathmeister, thanks for the raid, man. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a raid of 5 people stopping by from another
cool. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
catch the last
Hey.
15 minutes.
Hey, Heathmeister. Thanks for the
Hey.
raid. Appreciate it, guys.
He says, "What are you looking for?"
Me.
He
I-
looks at all of you. You are all welcome to talk to this man.
I'm just gonna say I'm still lost in the thought of like I was before. So you go ahead.
Sure, Jonas.
Say the. I was typing. Say the thing again.
What are you looking for?
What are we looking for? He's asking us, what are we looking for?
Yes. He's offering you what limited help he has, but time he has left.
Yeah. I mean, Jonas is looking for, and he would say that the truth of all things. So we followed. Well, we as we followed believers of the Leviathan here, and we were promised truths of the world, and we seek out those truths.
There are a few truths of the world left. Truth is dying all around us. What is solid melts. What was made has become unmade. We broke this world, and soon there will be nothing left of it. What truth could you seek that would help you? What hope is there left to find? He's not speaking rhetorically. He genuinely is a broken man.
Maybe the truths you thought led you down this pessimistic pathway, but journey even. But we still have hope that we can put the world back together.
The truths we sought were power and righteousness. And indeed they did lead us down this path. Power brought us to the Almighty. And then that power and that hunger broke us. When the Leviathan came, we were not ready. When we brought word to our God, he was not concerned. When we showed the face of the Leviathan to our people, they worshipped it. When we brought the truth to the gates of heaven, it shattered them in pieces. I hope, Jonas, that you find a better truth than us. There must be, if it is not too late already, a better truth than power.
At this point, Jonas is bowing out of the conversation because
Yeah,
I most definitely
it's
am
a little
seeking.
very close to home.
Yeah, I'm very definitely seeking truth for power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Davros, Verk.
What about a truth of peace and surrender?
Peace. Can barely make out his image. There is one truth, formed of many. Many stories, myths, legends coalesce. You've seen them on your travels, haven't you? The stories that get told from world to world, passed down now. We seeded them that way. When we ran the engines, he looks off with this melancholy. When we built the worlds with our own hands, with our own power, we put in them hope. It was a false hope. It was a false promise of peace, Davros. He has a shadow of a smile on his face. You're looking for the cathedral. The serenity of the cathedral. The shadow of a legend. The whisper of salvation amongst the beleaguered and the hunted. The cathedral, they say, sits at the very center of all things and at the end. It is the closest thing we have left to a heaven, but there's no God. They can't find you, they can't hunt you anymore. The Leviathan cannot hunger and taste your flesh there. The hounds cannot follow you there. It is always empty, always full, and always safe. You remember these lines specifically, Jonas, from the Pilgrimage of St. August. He spoke of this cathedral in those same words: always empty, always full, and always safe. And he says there is what?
Well, if that's the case, I feel like I would have turned away from him and maybe like clutched the talisman as I'm like walking maybe away, and then he says those lines that resonate with me, and I spin my head around, maybe not my body, but like I torque my head, and I'm like, what do you know of the pilgrimage?
The pilgrimage? It is eternal. It is the path of those who seek peace and have never found it. We seeded this truth through every world. But the cathedral? It's a cocoon made of worms. It's a loom made of silk. It's a needle made of thread. It's not there. It was never there. It's a lie. The heart starts to rapidly decay and rot. I am sorry. And if you find your way home, I wish you a shred of peace, even if it is a lie. And if you should find the cathedral, false though it is, fake and hollow, built from lies, I pray to the dead God whose blood swirls around us in this grave, that you make it true, for the sake of your souls, and for the peace of all of those we left behind. And he goes to pump the heart again, and it just falls.
Wait!
And it's empty.
As he goes to do that one last right before it happens.
Uh-huh.
And what of my heart?
And the heart falls to the ground,
And I go under it.
and he's gone.
I dive toward it.
You take 1 point of physical damage.
No, hold on. Do you try to pump it one last time?
Yeah, I try to grab it.
Give me something. Give me something, Ted.
It's
Because this man's soul belongs to the ether now. You want to bring it back for one last question?
I want to. What did I have? All I could think of is to invoke my high concept, really, and that I'm making just this. This is a selfish action. I just want him to give me something. I want.
Right. You're calling a soul back from
Yeah.
the beyond just to give you an answer.
I'm grasping at this infinite knowledge for something to help me in my own quest. That's all.
What do you roll? Is it?
What can I
feel like will. It's like sheer force of will.
Yeah.
So you don't have world right, and you guys know that he doesn't. But you almost tap in because the grave, it just goes off of intent. It goes off of sheer force of will. You don't know that it is that, but you're putting everything you have. This is literally your high concept. This is everything. This is your guiding ethos. This is the only thing you care about. You pour all of that into this world, and the world has to respond. It is obligated to respond. This world has no god. It has 1,000 tiny gods who crawl on it, and you're one of them. So you catch the heart, and your fingers actually dig into, because it is rotting. It punctures the rotting flesh of this heart, but it pumps it one last time. Roll me will, please. And
I'm
if you want to burn
invoking-
your high concept, yep.
Yeah, I'm invoking my high concept. Can I also invoke don't overthink it here? Because this is a desperate sort of reactionary move.
Sure, yeah. You're rolling at an ob. You're rolling against an ob 4. You are currently rolling a 6 to get it. If you want to invoke don't overthink it, I will put your refresh at a 0 and spend
Yeah.
at an 8.
-1.
And you rolled a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right?
So 7.
So 7, and the ob is a 4, so you succeed with style.
Okay.
So you get to put an aspect in play, Ted. This can be an aspect for you. We may even change one actual aspect. So what do you ask it? Pump the heart. It just barely comes back into play. What do you call it? What do you say to it?
Wow. Okay. How do I reach Al Huyam, which is madness? That's the 14th stage. Love. How do I reach madness? The highest madness.
It looks down and places its hand on your head like it is blessing a worshiper. Al Hoyam, and he lists through 3, 4, 5. He starts going through a bunch of words you don't know. Jonas, you pick up on one of them. It's referenced obliquely in the pilgrimage of St. August. It's one of the myths he comes across. It's one of the stories, one of the grand treasures. It's El Dorado. Al Hoyam is Shangri-La. It's the Heliotrope Cathedral. And he says, after all those, he lists them. It's the I'm sorry. He says it's the Heliotrope Cathedral. It's a lie that if you ever want to see, you must make truth. I am sorry. And this final apology you recognize not as I'm sorry for the world we broke, but as an I'm sorry to you personally. For the lies that they sowed amongst all these worlds, for the rituals, the religions, truths they had implanted in these people. All of those bills have come due. All of those chickens have come home to roost. You're a sea of broken people looking for a truth that all along, all of these truths were fabrications. They were lies. They were heliotrope cathedrals. They were beautiful, peaceful sanctuaries at the end of the world, and none of them exist. You succeed with style, so I'll put an aspect into play on you. You are welcome to think on this for between now and next session. Can you spell Al Hoyam for me?
Yeah, it is AL dash or apostrophe HOYAM.
Al Hoyam is a lie.
Good.
Gentlemen, I think let's end there. Good work. Hell of a session, some technical difficulties, but great job. In between this week and next, let's think of some. I'll start up a little something on the dock, and we'll do some world aspects. We'll get those into play. You guys really brought it tonight. everyone had an amazing play. Talab, both at the beginning there with that great compel in there at the end. Davros with the power play. Verk with that incredible opener, turning this from an absolute shit show into a brawl. And then, as always, Jonas making the plays, getting the guys into trouble, countering that world right especially. Great plays all around, guys. I want to see this every week. Absolutely. This was great. So yeah, it's 10 o'clock. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you were here, if you want to catch up on our sessions, they're all available on YouTube. I think there's either a link in the chat, or I don't know if you have a permanent link somewhere.
Yeah, I
Francis,
should put it on the Twitch page itself on the little
Yeah.
dashboards they have at the bottom. But
yeah, was it YouTube /
it should just be
Fratscat?
Fratscat. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have it in the chat too. So guys, this is episode 4. And
episode 4 of campaign 2. There's also 5 episodes of the previous campaign which link into this, so maybe nine episodes total.
Yeah, and we try to keep them short, 3 hours, so you can digest most of it, fairly quickly or whatever. They're also up on the Twitch video on demand if you guys get a chance. I appreciate was it Heathmeister for the follow and the raid with a couple viewers.
Thank you. Really appreciate
I appreciate you guys sticking around. It looks like thank you so much. We try to do this Sunday nights, so if Heath is ever streaming on Sunday nights, but finishes a little earlier, and you guys want to come and join us, we would love to have you. And I believe we should be back for next Sunday, right? We decided
We're back next Sunday.
Good. Yeah.
So 7 o'clock Eastern.
Sundays, 7 o'clock Eastern to about 10 o'clock p.m. minus either starting a couple minutes late, or if the action's really, really good, we like to find a good stopping point, so we might go a little beyond 10 sometimes, but maybe a few minutes tops.
Cool.
And appreciate it, guys. So check us out next time. If you want to see more of the episode, either hit up the Twitch channel here or check us out on YouTube. I obviously have a Twitter that I keep up to date with information about the D&D sessions, and you can always check out our Discord and message us on there to if you have any questions for us directly or anything. All right.
Cool. All right, thanks guys. Have a good night.
Awesome.
Thanks, Dan. See ya.
Yeah.
Thanks
And
everybody.
For anyone that watches the YouTube videos, we switched systems, I think maybe 1.5 times, I guess, technically. So don't get confused by that.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of that. All right, good night, guys.